On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari faults Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU alleges corruption in the educational sector. Role between federal government and ASU takes new turn as Labour Minister approves two union factions. And federal government drags Meta to court, seeks 30 billion naira penalty over unapproved adverts. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari says university lecturers were complicit in undermining government investment in the educational sector. Buhari made this known during the 4th National Summit on Diminishing Corruption in the Public Sector held at the State House Conference Center in Aso Rock. The president explained that corruption undermines educational policies, investments, and creates an unfriendly learning environment for young people. President Buhari also commended the ICPC for investigating and prosecuting sexual harassment as abuse of power in educational institutions.
Are concerned about the manifestation of various forms of corruption in our universities. For example, use different terminologies to describe different forms of corruption they experience on our campuses. There is sorting or cash for marks, grades, sex for marks, sex for grade alterations, examination malpractice, and so on. Sexual harassment has assumed an alarming proportion. Other forms of corruption include payroll padding or ghost workers, lecturers taking a full-time appointment in more than one academic institution, including private institutions, lecturers writing seminar papers, projects, and dissertations for students for a fee. I am happy to note that ICPC is investigating and prosecuting sexual harassment as abuse of power in our educational institutions. I call on stakeholders to demand accountability in the administration of academic institutions and for unions to interrogate the bloated personnel and procurement expenditure of their institutions.
Still on tertiary education, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has said the Green Chamber has made some recommendations to President Muhammadu Buhari on ways to tackle the lingering crisis between the federal government and the striking university lecturers. The Speaker said this after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday. While lamenting the prolonged strike, which has led to disruption of academic activities, the Speaker expressed optimism of finding lasting solution to the crisis.
After a series of engagements with ASU and with people on the executive side, we've been able to come to some kind of decision on our part and recommendations to be made to Mr. President for his approval. And that's why we're here, because as you know, what's on the front burner today, even beyond the politics, is our universities, our lecturers, and our children who are out of school. And the House of Representatives decided to step in at that point 4 weeks ago. And we've had a series of meetings that lasted hours, and we came to discuss and to discuss with Mr. President about those recommendations. That's why we're here. We're done with our meetings with ASU. We've made our report and we've done our recommendations. All that is left now as we speak is for us to come back here on Thursday, maybe Friday, I don't know, in the next couple of days for Mr. President. He wanted to digest the report in detail. And we won't know anything until Thursday or Friday.
Meanwhile, the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, is no longer the sole education union in Nigeria's university system. This comes as the federal government registered two unions, namely the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA. Speaking on the development, the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, explained that the two bodies will exist alongside ASU. ASU has been on strike since February 14, 2022, as lecturers of public universities protest unpaid allowances and demand better welfare package from the federal government. Well, to speak more on this, legal expert and public affairs analyst Evan Tufeli joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. What do you make of this latest development between the ASU and the federal government? Is the registration of two new unions a deliberate attempt to whittle down the power of ASU?
Well, I think that the struggle or the fracas between ASU has degenerated uncontrollably, and this is a very dangerous phase. This attempt to register two separate pressure groups in the likeness of ASU to now whittle down the power of ASU or to displace ASU entirely, for me, it's not a solution to the problem. I think that this is going to create further problems in future. It is not a solution because what ASU is asking for is for the federal government to revitalize the institutions and then make it more credible and for it to deliver on the promises to make education better in the country. And what I thought the federal government should do is to negotiate with ASU out of court and find a lasting solution to this problem so that the children can go back to school. But this type of now registering two different bodies again, with the claim that these bodies have made applications since 2018, and now they are just being granted that leeway to become groups also that will determine what the university should be like and the universities and all that. I think it's not going to go down well, because what this will lead to is it may lead to further breakdown of law and order, because there are some persons who do not believe in ASU among their members, who feel that if ASU want to agitate, they can do that without necessarily shutting down the institutions. And there are other schools of thought who believe that if you don't shut down the institutions, the federal government will not listen. And that has been the precedent. So between these two groups now, they are divided, okay? And these new groups that is coming up now are the groups that the federal government want to now negotiate with and then sideline ASU. That is what it looked like. But where they're going to have problem is whether these two groups will have the spread across all universities in Nigeria. If some universities do not yield to these new groups that are coming up, what happens to those universities? If some universities stay with ASU and some universities break out to the new group, what will now be the fate? That means you're going to have some universities negotiating with the federal government and the other ones displaced. So I don't think this is a solution to the problem. The children have been at home since February. What we expect from the federal government is if they cannot put down the funds that has been asked for to revitalize the university at once, they can put it down in bits, renegotiate and resign another agreement. But this time, the federal government must be committed to this agreement, because the issues are multifaceted. It's not just the issue of funds only. There are other technical issues around it. But I think that the federal government can look at the problem, like we say in our local parlance, that when trees fall on trees, you take up the one that is on top before you get to the one under. Let the federal government discountenance these two groups. That is you see, because when we go this way, it is the ground that will suffer. The students are the ones that will suffer. The masses are the ones that will suffer. So it is not a good thing to say that you are now going to have multiple groups along the way, and then you're not going to say have ASU, and you're still going to have peace. Two rams cannot drink water from the same bucket at the same time. there must be clash. So to avoid this clash and to make sure that we have a formidable front in our university structure and system, let ASU remain, let the federal government step in, let the federal government do what it ought to do to enable the universities go back, to enable the lecturers go back to the classroom and give the Nigerian youths the desired education that they require as a matter of law. It is the legal right of the Nigerian youths to have education, higher education, to have education at all levels. So this is what is required of us, and not the creation of more pressure groups within the system.
Well, indeed, legal expert and public affairs analyst Evans Sefeli, thank you very much for your time and your contribution on the matter. Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari will on Friday this week present the 19.76 trillion naira 2023 appropriation bill before the Senate and the House of Representatives. The presentation will take place at 10 a.m. at the temporary chamber of the House of Representatives. The letter on the budget presentation by President Buhari was personally written by him and read in plenary on Tuesday by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had said the government's budget deficit is expected to exceed 12.42 trillion naira if the federal government keeps the petroleum subsidy for the entire 2023 fiscal cycle.
Dear Distinguished Senate President, presentation of 2023 appropriation bill. May I crave the kind indulgence of the Distinguished Senate to grant me the slot of 10 hours on Friday, that's 10 a.m. on Friday, 7th October 2022, to formally present the 2023 appropriation bill to the joint session of the National Assembly. Please accept, Mr. Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards as I look forward to addressing the joint session. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ACAN, sued Meta Platforms Incorporated, owners of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp platforms, for showing unapproved advertisements to the Nigerian audience. In a statement on Tuesday, ACAN said it also sued Meta's agent, AG3 Resources Limited, in the suit filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The agency said the continued exposure of the unvetted advert has led to a loss of revenue to the federal government. According to ACAN, its focus was on advertising and marketing communications on the online platforms in line with its Establishment Act rather than regulating the online media space. And now to politics. The Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Group, Ohaneze Indigbo, in Lagos State has endorsed the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, and has declared support for the re-election of the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for the 2023 elections. The endorsement was declared at the group's town hall summit, in which had in attendance critical stakeholders. Speaking to journalists at the event, the leader of the Indigbo APC in Lagos State, Joe Igbokwe, as well as other members of the group, described Bola Tinubu as a leader of repute who deserves the full support of the Igbos. They explained that a vote for Tinubu is a vote for development, and Nigerians will see changes at both state and national levels if they choose him to lead in 2023.
I'm making the statement clear that we are APC. And we just brought our leaders, what you see is our leaders, from the state to the local government and to the world level. And some other associations in Lagos like the Ohaneze, the Igbo-speaking community, the NDSS, APC is our party, and we are ready to deliver our candidate.
This is a man who you don't need to look at his antecedents, you don't need to ask about his antecedents. It shows it is because of him that we can proudly practice politics in Lagos that is not our aborigine. So if this man is being given the opportunity to handle Nigeria, imagine how Nigeria will be. We all will be proud to say that we are Nigerians.
The women in Lagos are wonderful people. Yesterday, we just tested the mic. When you look at what happened yesterday, you will know not only the women in Igbo in APC, but all the women in entire Lagos are strongly behind Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. The Asiwaju we know, the Asiwaju that's tested, and the Asiwaju will vote, and we love him.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has announced a salary increment for workers in the state public office. Sanwo-Olu made this announcement on Tuesday during his courtesy visit to the head office of public service in Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. He said Lagos State will not wait for the federal government before it improves the well-being of workers. The announcement is coming less than a few months before the 2023 general election.
I don't know what I've looked around, and I know that as a country, there is pressure. I know that as a country, there is high level of inflation. I know that as a country, the head of service office and the Ministry of Staff Training and Pension to start work on how we're going to increase the entire salary.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC Limited, declares profit after tax of 674 billion naira for the year 2021. Details of this story and more right after this break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari says university lecturers were complicit in undermining government investment in the educational sector. Buhari made it known during the 4th National Summit on Diminishing Corruption in the Public Sector held at the State House Conference Center in Abuja. We also told you that the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, is no longer the sole education union in Nigeria's university system. This comes as the federal government registered 2 unions, namely the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA. But in case you missed any of our news bulletin, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Residents in Germany will from Saturday have to adjust to a new set of rules aimed at curbing the spread of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. The rules are being introduced as the country is seeing a steady rise in infections amid colder weather, with officials recording 96,367 new cases in the past 24 hours, around double the number recorded just a week ago. Authorities call the new rules strict compared with other European countries, but said Germany was being more cautious in its approach. Residents in Germany will from Saturday have to adjust to a new set of rules aimed at curbing the spread of coronavirus that causes COVID-19. The rules are being introduced as the country is seeing a steady rise in infections amid colder weather, with officials recording 96,367 new cases in the past 24 hours, around double the number recorded a week ago. Well, we'll take a break here and return with more stories in business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now join Abisola Adebayo for more stories in business. Over to you, Bisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, has announced that the NNPC Limited as a corporation grew its profit after tax from 287 billion naira in 2020 to 674 billion naira in 2021. Kyari will disclose this at a press conference in Abuja, said the 2021 profit was contained in the group audited financial statement of the oil firm for the year ended by December 31st, 2021. Kyari further said despite the challenging operating environment, he strongly believes that NNPC has the potential to sustainably deliver better value to its esteemed shareholders. The Debt Management Office says Nigeria spent a total of $246.16 million on servicing its foreign bonds in the first quarter of 2022, and by the second quarter of the same year, the total debt service cost on the loans rose to $457.01 million. However, the total amount spent by Nigeria on servicing Eurobonds and diaspora bonds has risen significantly by 85.67% between the two periods. The agency further revealed that while debt servicing cost on foreign bonds made up 44% of total external debt service in the first quarter of 2022, it was 76% of total external debt service by the second quarter of the same year. Well, we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. The bearish sentiment in Nigeria's equities market persists as the market kicked off the new month on a negative note. At the close of trading today, the all-share index recorded a 0.29% decline, closing at 48,879 basis points. Unfortunately, again, the market is declining on the first trading day of the week as investors failed to buy into the recent dip despite the fact that the market offers them an opportunity to take position on tickers with attractive upside potential. On the list of stocks that sent the market on a downward trajectory today, we have International Breweries and Red Starex on the list of our losers today, as they recorded a combined 63 kobo loss. On the flip side, as our top gainers for today, Multiverse and RT Briscoe led the gainers counter, recording a 39 kobo increase. Our market summary, however, sees also in the negative as 173 million units of shares valued at 2.3 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,926 deals. Well, analysts predicted a bearish sentiment to dominate the market as investors continue to react to MPC's rate hike, but hopefully there might be a change as companies begin to release their third quarter earnings results before the end of the week. Moving on to the foreign scene, the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei, they are all in the positive territory. European shares rose sharply on Tuesday in line with its global peers, boosted by growing hopes that central bank may ease the pace of future interest rate hikes as they attempt to bring down high inflation, which is why the FTSE is recording a 2.57% increase, same as the Dow Jones 2.76% increase, and Japan stocks Nikkei also recorded 2.96% increase at the close of trading on Tuesday. That's all on stock market reports. Back to Fola Shadi for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Bisalan. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian troops have retaken more territory in regions illegally annexed by Russia, with Kyiv's forces advancing near the southern city of Kherson and consolidating gains in the east. Russian installed officials in Kherson confirmed the advance, but said Moscow's forces were digging in. Speaking during his nightly address, President Zelensky said fierce fighting continues in many areas, but he did not give details. The progress of Ukraine's counterattacks have been closely guarded, and reporters have largely been kept away from the front lines. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Singer and songwriter Asha has demanded that Afrobeat artist Joe Boy and producer Tempo pay her 300 million naira over copyright infringement in Joe Boy's Contour. The notice, which was shared by Joe Boy on his Instagram story on Monday, revealed that Asha had given a 24-hour ultimatum for the song to be removed from all digital streaming platforms. According to the letter, the lawyers representing Asha revealed that the song's composition was created by Asha in a recording session with Tempo, which took place on the 22nd of September 2020. It further stated their client didn't grant permission for Joe Boy and Tempo to utilize the said composition. The singer, through her management, also asked for a 60% publishing split on the song and a written apology. Actress and filmmaker Funke Akindele has dropped the first look of her latest directorial project, Battle on Bukka Street. The actress teased fans to the highly anticipated comedy through her Instagram page on Monday. Produced by the newly unveiled Funke Ayotunde Akindele Network Fan and Film One Entertainment, the film, which features an array of stars including Shola Sobowale, Tina Mba, Bimbo Ademoye, Inkemowo, Funke Akindele, and a host of others, will hit the cinema come December 16. Battle on Bukka Street will be the actress's third directorial project since Ebony Life's Your Excellency and the record-breaking Omogeto, The Saga. And that's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
In sports, the president-elect of the Nigerian Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, said his administration will do everything possible to unite football stakeholders in the country and record success, as this is what Nigerians want. He made it known while addressing newsmen in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, after his emergence as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation on the 30th of September. Gusau also called on football stakeholders in the country to join hands with him to move the game of football forward.
By the grace of God, Nigerians will see a lot of changes in the administration of football. You know, the past 8 years has not been easy because it has been very turbulent for the board due to so many litigations, so many infights within the system. But by the grace of God, we will do everything possible to ensure that we bring every stakeholder together to sit down on the table and see how we can agree within ourselves. For those of them that are genuinely ready to support us to achieve what we want to achieve for Nigerian football, we'll surely work with them so that at least we'll move the game forward.
And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.